Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. This is part 3 of the Burlap Lapbook Journal Folio mini album, whatever you wish to call it, um, or whatever you wish to use it for. So in this video I'm going to be decorating pretty much most of the pages. I'm starting off with decorating the inside of the envelopes. I'm going to do that for both envelopes. I have sped this video up just because the process itself is really long. And I have to do it in multiple takes, so um, by the time that the video is done, it'll literally be at least a couple hours with just all the process. So I'm gonna cover up all the insides of the two envelopes. I have placed two envelopes on this folio. I'm just gonna call it folio for short, but you can turn it into, like I said, whatever you wish to turn it into. And this is for sale at this point in time. It is complete with cover done and everything else done, which I will show you in a later video. But it is officially done. If you are interested in purchasing this folio from me, I'm going to leave my email down below, and we can discuss, pricing, shipping, so on and so forth. This will all be handled through PayPal. So again, if you're interested, then just let me know. I have decided to kind of go it's very eclectic for the most part. So it caters to, I guess, various little genres. It's got a little bit of steampunk, a little bit of vintage, just a tiny bit of shabby. It's got a little bit of everything, but mostly is in a vintage style. But I did use all different kinds of ephemeras for this. So here you see me making a little pocket, and this I just did by folding over the paper. This is dictionary paper, and I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of embellishment to this little pocket, and I'm also going to be stamping it out. As you can see, I've printed myself out a sheet of all sorts of clocks, so there's all kinds of different little clocks throughout this folio lapbook, you know. For me, it's more of a lapbook than it is a folio, just because of the extension on it. It folds out quite wide. Even though it compresses to a very narrow type of folio, it does open up to a really wide lapbook. So yes. Um, so pretty much doing some stamping all around. I added a little bit of vines here and there, and a little bit of distressing, and this pocket is ready to go. For my next project, I am going to make a smaller version. Not by too much, but a little bit smaller and a little bit wider on the spine. So it's going to be even chunkier or even thicker than how this one came out. But I'm going to most likely be using the same kind of principle. So I'm not sure if I am going to be recording that process, because I think I'm going to keep it pretty much the same. I'm just going to make the spine a little bit wider for the next one. And these are really cool because you can do all kinds of fun things with it. So right here, you see me creating a tag, and pretty much I just created a very simple paper tag, and what I did is I just folded the paper over, went ahead and just edged up a nice little kind of border around it, and I'm just going to go ahead and decorate this as well. I only did one of these paper tags for this folio, but as we speak, I'm sorry, as we speak, I am kind of making a lot of odds and ends that I'm storing. So I'm creating a lot of little tags and a lot of little things just for further folios and lap books. And originally I had made that for that pocket there, but I will change my mind. So here I'm using some graphic 45. There's a little bit of everything in here. A lot of ephemeras that I have printed off myself, but there are a few elements of graphic 45 in here, some of their journaling cards that I altered and turned them into little pockets, which you'll see a little bit later on in this video. So just kind of figuring out in what order I want things. And that's what's fun about these kinds of things. Not just making it, but also being able to decorate it in any way, shape, or form. I personally am a little bit on the eclectic side, which pretty much means that I like all different kinds of styles. I'm not really too stuck on any one style, although I do tend to gear towards vintagey um, and things of that nature. With this one, it was a little bit more different for me because I did combine, like I said, various styles on one kind of, you know, one journal. um, but I have done like shabby and I've done just pure vintage. This one has a little bit of everything. And here I've created a pocket, a little tuck spot, if you will, by just collaging some of those elements. And I'm going to go ahead and just fold that over because why cut it off when you could just, continue to embellish the other side, right? So that's pretty much what I've done with that little corner there. Just making sure that everything is good to go. And that's where I decided to put that little tag at. So nothing has pretty much been done to this journal. So we are going to go through, like I said, pretty much most of the process of decorating this. But what I am going to focus mostly on this one are like the pockets and things of that nature. And I will go ahead and decorate here and there, throughout. So what you see me using is these little slip covers that are actually for CDs. So these are like CD protectors. And I purchased them locally, so I can always go and get more. Thank God they have like an endless supply. Um, and what I've done is like a little cameo type of little embellishment here. And these are all using like craft dyes and stuff like that, and some more of that dictionary paper, just to kind of keep the flow kind of going with utilizing some of the same types of papers throughout so that it all kind of matches and kind of correlates. This is a Tim Holtz stamp, and I just absolutely love that face. And once I kind of used that face on that stamp, once I kind of stamped out that face on that, that kind of set the tone for how the remainder of the folio more or less was decorated. Um, this was like my little piece of inspiration because I wasn't really sure which, obviously how I was going to go ahead and just decorate this thing. Um, but once I did that, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely the way to go. And luckily, I did have some images stored on my computer that worked well for this. This is a little strip, I think it's from Heidi Swap, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just to add like little pictures or something of that nature. But if you don't like this, then you can go ahead and just remove it and glue a tag or glue something in that spot there. Just trying to figure out where exactly I wanted to put it. So I decided to put it behind one of the journals just to give you another little area of, somewhere to put something at. And I did use a lot of little die cuts throughout this piece. Not as many as I would have liked to have used, but I'm building up my stash as we speak. So again, this is something that I've really enjoyed, um, and it kind of helps me to cleanse my palette, if you will. Helps me to do something different because they're always different. No two journals are ever the same, just like no two art pages are ever the same. So it kind of keeps me going back and forth, taking breaks between the both. So in total, I've decided to go ahead and do 6 pockets. So these are like for the album section, and this is why the titles kind of states, it can be a folio, a journal, an album, all of those things kind of wrapped up in one, because I went ahead and dedicated 3 of the panels to being able to add pictures, and so just using a little bit of double-sided tape because I wasn't sure if the glue was going to hold well to it or not. And I honestly don't have the patience to wait for glue to dry when I'm trying to work on these kinds of projects. I do for other things, but since I wasn't sure if it was gonna work anyways with the glue, I was just like, you know what, just put some double-sided tape on that. That'll hold well. And here you have some pockets. I've gone and done an overview of this, of what I've created so far. So if you haven't seen the overview and you want to just see, how everything is kind of looking, thus far, then you can go ahead and check that out. I will be adding some cards to this video that you can go ahead and check out the process for this video as well as the overview. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down this key. I've added some lace to that. That's another thing that you're going to find throughout this. I did add lace in a few places in here. And I've glued that down. So there's a little bit of everything here. And since nothing goes to waste, I will figure out as well as using all these little bits and pieces that I'm going to end up having left over. And if they don't get used on this one, they will definitely get used on the next one. I was thinking about adding some metal embellishments, so I did pull some of them out just to see where I can add them here and there. But in the end, I don't really add many. I think I just end up adding one to one of the journals. Because things just, things just keep evolving. Here I'm working on one of the pockets. This is just like a little, pocket that's going all across the page. And what am I doing here? Okay, I think here I'm going to go ahead and create another journal for it. So what I've done is I've hand cut some paper. Those, you'll see me doing it right here. Yeah, there we go. I've pretty much done that to a couple of sheets. I think there's about 7 sheets like the previous one. And I'm also going to be including some dictionary paper that's going to get folded in between some of the sheets as well. And I've decoratively punched out all the corners. So we have a little bit of, it's got like a very decorative kind of feel, something a little bit different. And I've done the same for the dictionary papers as well. Just something a little different. And adding some stamping, some very light stamping throughout some of the pages. Very, very light. Again, I wanted to do it a little bit different than the first journal that I made, where I went ahead and just used the embossing folder and just added some embossing on the pages that way with some ink. With this one, I just wanted to add some stamping and keep it light. I haven't gotten around to tea dyeing or coffee dyeing paper yet. I don't necessarily know if if that's something that I want to do as yet. I know it's a fairly easy process, but just the amount of time that it would take to tea dye paper and coffee stain paper and put them to dry and all of that good stuff. I don't necessarily know if I have the patience for that, because again, I'm a very impatient kind of crafter, and I don't know. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. That might come into play at some point. But right now, all I'm doing is distressing them a little bit with just a little bit of ink here and there. And mostly keeping the paper white so that you can go ahead and see, what your notes are. So here I'm going to go ahead and add, I've processed these beautiful dies of these really lovely vintagey type ladies. I've stamped them, and I'm going to incorporate them onto some tags, and these are going to become tuck spots in the journal as well. And I didn't really like how any of the papers looked with the tags themselves, so I just decided to go ahead and just stamp out, stamp out the tags, and that way let the die cuts themselves be more of the focal point and kind of really stand out on that tag. And I'm going to do the same process for both tags. And these are like my go-to stamps. Usually when I do art journaling or for most of the things that I do, I have a little tin can where I keep like my go-to, stamps. The ones that I can go ahead and just stamp them out with my hands, and I don't necessarily need like a, like a block if I don't want to use it and stuff like that. So these are like my go-to kind of girls. And yes, you see her upside down, but she will not be upside down. The book is upside down itself. So I have not glued her wrong. I will be flipping the book over. There we go. Adding a little bit of distress there just so that I have a little bit of shadow behind the tag itself. And this little journal's good to go. And again, what's awesome about these things is that you can keep the cover and refill the papers. And since everything is 8.5 by 11, you have an endless supply of copy paper that you can go ahead and add in here. And if you have other papers that are smaller, then you can still fold them the same way and just do a cascading effect. And pretty much in the same fashion that I did my original journal, just glue them down the seam and you'll be good to go. Write down that fold and just layer them one over the other and you'll be good to go. So now this has 2 journal areas. So now what we're going to do is add the rest of the little, the little album sections for this. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare 4 more of the little pocket windows that are going to go in the little album section. And I think this is all that you're going to pretty much see for this video here. It's pretty much me adding those 4 pieces. In the follow-up video, you're going to see more of the decoration. Because I did have to trim these videos down just to make sure that everything was, everything was copacetic and everything was going to kind of fit. And I did rip accidentally one of the little border frames, but I was able to fix that and repair that, so no biggie. So I'm going to add these little cameo decals here. Well, it's going to become like a little cameo decal by the time that I add the next element, which is going to be some stickers. And these are all craft dies, you guys. These are all just little cutouts that I've done specifically for this, for this journal. But I really did like how they look, so I think I'm going to do a lot more of these and just store them so that I have them ready to implement wherever, wherever they're needed. They make really, really cute embellishments. So I'm going to do this for all 4. And we're almost nearing the end of this video because, like I said, this is going to be really the only part that I'm going to be working on for this video. And then on the next one, I'll show you guys the rest of the process. So you're going to see me finishing up these little pocket areas here. I'm going to grab myself some beautiful stickers. I'm going to distress the edges. I'm going to glue these down. And then I'm going to put these pockets where they go. And that's going to complete the album section of this lapbook, folio, mini album, traveler's notebook, whatever you wish to call it. It's got a lot of titles because it's got a lot of uses. So deciding on which ones I want to put in here. So they're all a little bit different. I try to make them all just a little bit different so that I'm not repeating patterns or stickers and so on and so forth. And overall, they're really cute. They have a little bit of foiling on them. They're just super adorable. And they were the perfect touch for these little pockets. A little bit different than the rest of what the journal ends up looking like. But this is why I'm telling you that at the end of the day, there was a little bit of everything in here. And this cute little rose kind of covers up and also reinforces that little piece that got torn. But like I said, I did fix that, so it did glue down properly. And here we're just going to add this. And I hope overall you guys have found these videos useful. And, you've learned how to more or less kind of create your own and gave you some ideas about different things that you can do. Again, they're very similar to decorating, flip books, which we've all probably done before. And if not, I do have a playlist of all the flip books that I've done from very early on when I first started on YouTube. And this is just like a flip book on a larger scale for me, so I love it. Love it, love it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have not subscribed, then please subscribe. I have a lot of fun things going on my channel, and I do a little bit of everything. If you haven't noticed that by now, I do a little bit of everything. I hope that you give this video a thumbs up. Definitely leave me your comments and feedbacks down below. Like I said, I hope that you have found these these videos useful. And if you do end up creating one based on what I've created here, then I would love to see it. Definitely let me know. I would love to go to your channel and show you some love. And yeah, you guys, we are about done. Once I lay these next two down, then this video will be at its finito point. It'll be at its end. The next video to come will be the rest of the decorations, and then the video after that will be closing it and cover and decorating the cover. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Goodbye.